The key to understanding how to increase your iron is understanding how iron moves. Iron can be 10 times higher in the tissues than it is in the blood. So when we are looking at the blood and we aren't seeing iron there, it doesn't actually mean that our bodies aren't absorbing iron, or that our fibroids are making our iron low, or that our menstrual cycle is making us anemic. None of that makes sense, because what's actually happening is iron is becoming stuck in the tissues. Iron doesn't move with more iron, and if it did, then no one would be anemic, because in 1941 in Canada, the UK, and the United States, food was fortified with iron. And what this means is that in 1969, a group went to the US government and said, hey, look, anemia still exists, and it's actually one of the #1 issues that we're facing right now. So we should 3 times the amount of iron that we're adding to our food. If you can tell me a time where something worked out good for us, where it didn't work for 30 years, and the best solution is to do it 3 times as hard, then let me know, because it makes no sense. Part of the issue is now that we've done it for 80 years and people are still anemic, so more iron isn't the solution, and that's because iron doesn't move with more iron. Iron deficiency anemia, when we're talking about what we really need to be focusing on, is the movement of iron. So what is required for iron to move is we have to look at the beginning process of what activates it at the cells. So there is a bus, and that bus is called ceruloplasmin. That bus and copper go hand in hand. They are meant to be together. They're like Mariah Carey. And so what happens is when ceruloplasmin pulls on up to the bus stop, we need copper to get on board. Vitamin A locks copper with the ceruloplasmin. Now that can be kind of complicated to start thinking about. Think of vitamin A in the form of retinol as like the master of keys. And think of copper like the doorman. He's going to be the one that ultimately controls who gets on and off the bus. Now, ceruloplasmin doesn't transport iron through the body, but this part is the beginning part of how iron is going to move. And so what happens is, if ceruloplasmin and copper aren't bound together, then we can end up with iron beginning to build up in the tissues, because what the beginning process is for it to move isn't there to begin with. And that's a lot of stress that's on the body. So whether that be, for example, gray hairs, whether that is insulin imbalances, whether that is pain, heavy periods, anemia, hemochromatosis, because hemochromatosis is just a sign that our iron is dysregulated. There are so many different signs that can be ones where iron is building in the tissues, and what we really want to do is focus on how it moves. If you want to learn more about how iron moves, check out my links. I have a free ebook on iron's movement, and it's something that I think is like step 1 in beginning to understand where these issues are coming from and how to get the body back to a state of balance.